So here we go. This is the decision matrix for Pascal's wager. So I actually do present the argument. If God exists and you believe in him, then you can expect an infinity of lives as a reward. But if God does not exist and you believe in him, you get nothing, because you give up your fun on earth, because you give up your joyful life. You commit time to you use your time to go to church. You pray to God, and you just waste your time. You give up the fun. You will yeah, and you will devote yourself to religion. In case you disbelieve and God exists, you keep your earthly life, you keep your life, your one life on earth, and if God does not exist, it will be the same thing. So let's attach a probability to the state of affairs that God exists, and to the state of affairs that God does not exist. So, and these are exclusive, and so we can say that the probability that God exists, that God does not exist, is 1 minus p, the probability that God exists. So let's calculate the expected value of this game. So what if we, for that choice, if we believe in God, then we can expect from that game, well, p times infinity plus 1 minus p times 0 equals infinity, given that p is greater than, is non-zero. So at first, when I first heard the argument, I simply tried to doubt that the probability of God's existence must not necessarily be greater than 0. But I guess that I got convinced by someone that this was that this is actually quite a weak premise, and you can grant the theist that thesis, or that weird doxastic voluntarism and hucksterism theist. What is the expected value for disbelief? Well, p times 1 plus 1 minus p times 1, which gives us 1, an expected value of 1 life if we choose disbelief. But are these the only options we have in the area of Pascal's wager? Well, there is a third option that I'm going to present now, and this is now, here comes the trick. This is the original and ingenious argument, whose source or whose creator I cannot name anymore, but once I find it, I'll tell it. So we could also say we're in the realm of doxastic voluntarism, and from that we would like to criticize that thing here. So we pretending to believe is enough. Maybe God is such a wicked person who just wants people to bow down in front of him and worship him. So so imagine there is a chance device that tells us, well, believe, or tells us to disbelieve, tells us to believe in God or not believe in God. And it does so, it chooses believe with a probability of, well, that here, and it tells us to disbelieve with a probability of this one here. And so this is the option of playing that game. And if we play that game, we get with a probability of this here, we have to believe, and so we have an expected value of infinity from above. And also from above, if that chance device tells us to not believe in God, we get an expected value of 1. What are the other options? The other options are not play that game with the chance device, where the chance device tells us what to do, believe or not believe. We cannot play that game, and disbelief, which would give us the expected value of disbelieving right away, that is the value of 1 life. And we can not play that game and believe in God right away, which would give us the expected value of believing right away, so infinity. But so what if we calculate the expected value of playing that game? That would give us here expected value of playing that game, p times the expected value of the belief in God plus 1 minus p times the expected value of disbelief, which would be p times, and now it's a different p, different from above, but yeah, but p times, it's still non-zero, p times infinity plus 1 minus p times 1 equals infinity. But this means nothing but that the expected value of believing right away equals the expected value of playing that game. And as I would say that, the risk, what we stake in that game, in playing that game here, what we stake here is much lower, is much less than what we would stake if we believed right away. Because here it is very likely that we can keep our earthly life, that we can disbelieve in God and don't have to go to church, don't have to pray to God, don't have to hate homosexuals and so on, and do all those weird religious stuff. So it is very likely that we won't, according to that chance device, that we won't have to that we won't have to believe. And so the risk that we take, the stake that what we stake, is pretty low as compared to believing in God right away. Then we have to devote ourselves to Him and give up our earthly life. So the expected values are the same, and the cost here is on average much lower than here. And so we should actually just play that game. We should play that game with the chance device. We can expect the same from both these games, but the cost is much lower here, to repeat it again. So back to my face.